Hello and welcome to my home. Today I'm going to give you a little tour of my December fall garden and my greens and some other things that I'm growing. And I'm also going to talk to you about how to protect your plants when it gets particularly frosty. But before we go there, I want to let you know I have other types of videos on my channel. I have easy to prepare recipes, I have product reviews, meditation videos, and other videos on how to grow a variety of vegetables in containers throughout the year. So come on, let's go on that little tour of my garden. Here's a full view of everything that I'm growing. If you've been following me, you see that I've changed things around a bit. I've moved out the containers that had my spring and summer vegetables and moved on to this fall winter garden. So I'm going to take you in closer and talk about a few things, and then I'll talk about how to protect your turnip greens. You can see I planted them very close together, and I did not thin these out because I'm growing these for the greens and not for the turnip bulbs. So I've already harvested one harvest of turnip greens, and now they're sprouting back, and I'll be getting another what they call a mess of greens not too long from now. Now here are my broccoli. Now there's a story with the broccoli. I had to restart my broccoli because I did them initially at the right time, but then I had to go away for a bit, and when I came back, that broccoli was pretty much devastated by insects since I wasn't here to control it. So I restarted some more. I'm not sure if this one's going to give me any broccoli. It's still kind of small, and I'm not sure how it's going to do. Normally you want these to be bigger before the real cold weather sets in, but no, fortunately or unfortunately, how you look at it, we've had some unusually warm weather this December, and we even had some record-breaking, at least one record-breaking day, so it's been kind of hot. But these are cool weather plants, so I'm wondering if it's wreaking havoc with them. I say that because this one has gotten some yellowing. I'm going to clip off those leaves and try to give it, a fresh start. But this is much bigger than this one, because this was the only one that wasn't eaten up while I was away, so I was able to save that one. Here's my arugula, looking good. I'm going to pick those and have a nice salad this evening. Now this is one of my Brussels sprouts that I had the same problem with the Brussels sprouts. They got eaten up a lot, just like the broccoli did and my collard greens that I'll show you in a bit. But it's hanging in there. I would like it to be a little thicker at the base than what it is, but I'm trying to nurse it through and see if I can get some good stuff off of there. And I restarted some more Brussels sprouts. Again, I'm going to have to thin these out. There's way too many in here, and I had to restart these because they were eaten up pretty severely. Now, here are my collard greens. I had to restart those as well, but these are coming along pretty good. I thinned them out, and once you thin them out, they can start growing. So I only got 3 in this pot. Probably should only have 2, but I'm pushing it with the 3. And that's going to bring me to this pot. This pot really only has 2 collard greens, and you can see the difference between the size of these and the size of these, and also this pot of collard greens. These are way too crowded, and you can see some of the leaves are starting to yellow. They're starting to lean over, and that's not a good sign. So I really need to thin this pot out and sacrifice the mini, just so I can have 2 or 3 in here. Here are my carrots. Nothing yet. I'm hoping something will be developing soon, but they can take the cold pretty good, and I'm going to end up covering them up, which I'll show you in a bit. But I want to show you the kale. So here's the kale that I have, and it's doing really, really well. And I've already I picked some and cooked them, and let's see, a month or so ago, I guess a month and a half ago, because I cooked them and freezed them, and we had those for Thanksgiving, and everyone just loved them. So I'm going to pick these in the next day or two, cook them, and we're going to have these for Christmas. Now I want to talk about protecting your plants when it gets frosty, or if you determine your plants look like they're looking a little frostbitten and maybe they're not holding up as well as you like. I always reach for the shade cover. Now the shade cover, which is this material right here, it comes in a big pack, and I just cut it down to the shape that I want. And I do use these in the summer when I want to put shade over my plants, but I find they're very good for winter protection as well. And the beauty of these is you don't have to spend a lot of money. So I just made kind of like a little tent or a teepee over the pot. So that covers it up. At nighttime, I just cover it up, and I will also tuck in the material underneath the pot if it's really windy. But there it is. That's the plant. And what I did was, you're going to poke a hole, put it down over the pole, and tie it. And I'm not using any fancy poles. In fact, this is a old tomato pole that I cracked in half because it was brittle and I could do it. I tied it with some old string right here. This is really garden tie. But you can also use, let me take you in. You can also use a bread tie. That came off of a bread, and I tie that around there to keep it secure. And that's a quick and simple little protector. And like I was saying, you can just use a regular twig and do the same thing. Poke a hole through the cloth, to the shade cloth, and tie it around there, and you have some protection for your plants. And I do this for the ones that are tall, because I don't want the shade cloth sitting too directly on taller plants, because I don't want them to bend. But when it comes to your kale, since they're such low-lying plants and they're fairly sturdy, I just go ahead and take this shade cloth, which I've cut long enough to cover this whole row, and I cover it when I think it's getting particularly frosty and chilly at night. And that's how it looks. And I just tuck the ends underneath the pots to keep them secure. And it's just like tucking yourself in, or tucking your kids in for the night. So, and then in the daytime I'll take it off so they can get advantage of the sun. So it's super simple what you can do. Here's another shot. This is a tie. I think it came off of something that I ordered. You can use string to tie it and make it secure around that, like I did here. Easy. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. Some things you have around the house, except you may not have the shade cloth, in which case you will go ahead and purchase that. But that's really something you can use. And I've had this shade cloth for at least 2 or 3 seasons, so they last pretty well. And there's different types of shade cloth. I got pretty much the lighter weight one. They do have ones that are rated for certain things, but I just use the all-purpose one. If you like that video, hit the thumbs up like button, and consider subscribing to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a new video. That's it for now. Bye bye.